The Honorable Rog Gutierrez.
Madam Chair, just a quick manifestation. I would tend to agree with our colleague, the Honorable Suwan, but for a different reason. Earlier, we were voting pono on the BIR box, and I think most of the members of the committee voted to err on the side of caution by voting not to open it. And in light of that principle, I think we must measure and exact the same. We should exact the same measure of caution when dealing with the impeachment as a whole. I tend to agree with the Honorable Suwan. I disagree that it's going too fast, maybe. I think that at this stage, all of us would have formed our own opinions about probable cause of the impeachment to two complaints. However, I am more of the opinion that out of abundant caution, as we keep saying, that we should afford the Vice President more chances. I know the Honorable Chairwoman has, the Chairperson has made it abundantly clear, no? After every issue, after every presentation of evidence, she has called for the Vice President or any representative to appear. And although that opportunity has not been taken, it might be better to afford at least one more day for the committee to at least allow her to answer. As I understand, Madam Chair, under our rules, whether or not she has decided to answer, they are allowed to present, if not to rebut the evidences presented by the prosecution or the complainants, that they can actually present their own. And it perhaps would not hurt this committee to afford more time. And considering also, Madam Chair, that under the Constitution, any which way we interpret it, whether it's through the previous interpretation or that with guidance of the newer Supreme Court ruling, we still have abundant time po, no? So maybe just out of caution and in the spirit of fairness and due process, we would afford the Vice President that opportunity. One more day, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
For the guidance of the members and in response to the Honorable Rog Rodriguez, I just want to state for the record that since day one of our impeachment proceeding, that is determination of sufficiency in form, followed by substance, and then ground, and then our hearings today, we've been calling the Vice President every after presentation of evidence per ground. So in as far as compliance to due process is concerned, I think we have surpassed so much whatever standard of due process is being required, no? As a matter of fact, even today, we've called her for 4 times already, and I intend to call her again right before we vote on the existence or non-existence of probable cause. That is just for the record. The Honorable Laila de Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with both the Honorable Chair and the Honorable Asidre. On the issue of due process, we have accorded the respondent, VP Sara Duterte, more than enough opportunity to appear before us and present her counter evidence. On the issue of due process, may I further elucidate? The Supreme Court has elucidated, actually, in the case of Duterte versus House of Representatives, GR number 27853, July 25, 2025, speaking through Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, quote, "Due process is anchored on fairness and equity. It is flexible and context-dependent, shaped by the circumstances, subject matter, and necessities of the situation. At its core, due process requires notice, hearing, and a fair opportunity to be heard." Fair opportunity to be heard. Ang lahat ng mga elementong ito ay malinaw na ipagkaloob sa respondent dito sa impeachment proceedings na ito. Una, ang respondent ay nabigyan ng abiso hinggil sa mga pagdinig at nabigyan din ng mga kopya ng mga dokumento at mga isinubiting ebidensya sa komiteng ito. Ikalawa, nagsagawa ang komite ng ilang magkahiwalay na pagdinig kung saan pinayagan ang presentasyon ng ebidensya at testimonya ng iba't ibang resource persons. Ikatlo, at higit sa lahat, ang respondent ay paulit-ulit na binigyan ng pagkakataon na dumalo, harapin ng mga ebidensya at mapagpaliwanag o magpaliwanag o sumagot sa mga paratang laban sa kanya. At sa bawat yugto ng prosesong ito, siya ay binigyan ng makabuluhang pagkakataon na marinig. In Gas Corporation of the Philippines versus Minister Inchong, GR number 186502, December 13, 2017, the Supreme Court explained that there is no denial of due process when a party is afforded the right to rebut the evidence against him or her but fails to exercise the same. What matters is that the opportunity to present his or her side of the case is given. If for reasons best known only to himself or herself, a party does not avail of his right to do so, then he has only himself or herself to blame. In this case, ang hindi pagdalo po ng respondent sa kabila ng paulit-ulit na pagkakataon ay hindi maituturing na paglabag sa due process. Rather, it reflects a voluntary decision not to avail of the opportunities made amply available by this committee. Nasaan po siya ngayon? Nasa San Pedro daw. And then hindi ho ba ay meron din tayong, meron na balita rin na meron siyang balak uli na umalis ng bansa. Meron siyang hininging travel clearance from the Office of the President. So wala talaga siyang intensyon na mag-cooperate o magpakita sa pagdinig na ito. As the court has consistently ruled, notably in Salandanan versus Court of Appeals, DR number 127783, June 5, 1998, quote, "The law aids the vigilant, not those who slumber on their rights." It's not even just a slumbering on their rights, but it is an open defiance of what is happening here in the impeachment
Come
proceedings.
closer to the microphone, please.
Open defiance po sa atin na wala siyang respeto sa ating proceedings. Given that the committee has already received sufficient evidence, heard from relevant resource persons, and repeatedly extended to the respondent the opportunity to be heard, I respectfully submit that due process has been fully satisfied. I further manifest that there is no compelling reason to extend the period of hearings for the determination of probable cause. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Can we hear first from the second endorser, the other endorser, in the person of Congressman Benny Abante,
Madam
the
Chair.
endorser of the Cabrera complaint?
Madam Chair, salamat po. I fully agree with Congresswoman De Lima that we should now vote. Naging patas po tayo, naging lenient po tayo sa kanya. Inintindi po natin siya, Madam Chair. Kahit meron tayong kapangyarihan to subpoena her, hindi po natin ginawa. Meron tayong kapangyarihan to contempt, hindi po natin ginawa. Ginalang po natin, Madam Chair, ang Vice Presidente ng Pilipinas. Tayo ba ginalang niya? Hindi. Ininsulto ba niya tayo? Madam Chair, hindi tayo pinagbigyan at pagpapahalaga sa pamamagitan ng kanyang presensya dito sa hearing na ito. We have already given her all the due process that she needed, Madam Chair. Kailangan nating alalahanin na bawat araw na itong kasong ito ay nakabinbin sa Committee on Justice, sinasayang po natin ang pera ng taong bayan at ang oras ng committee ito. Marami pa po tayong gagawin, Madam Chair. Ang daming problema ng ating bansa, lalo na po sa taas ng mga bilihin ngayon. Palagay ko, panahon na upang tayo ay magbotohan at panahon na upang sa committee ito, ay i-report na po natin sa plenaryo at ma-impeach na po ang pangalawang Pangulo. Madam Chair, yan lang po nga sabihin ko. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Both the endorsers already manifested to vote today. So, in fairness likewise to the justice members, we've been attending the impeachment proceeding for like more than a month or 2 months perhaps. As a matter of fact, we failed to take advantage of our recess to visit our respective districts. So with the indulgence of the members, is it possible that we join the position of Honorable Laila De Lima, the endorser of the Sabala complaint, and Honorable Benny Abante, the endorser of Cabrera impeachment complaint? After all, we have shown to the viewing public and even to our colleagues the magnitude of opportunity that we have provided and we continue to provide to the Vice President. As a matter of fact, the pronouncements of their team, the defense team, is very clear that they have no intention of attending before the Justice Committee, notwithstanding their readiness to answer the allegations. She intends to answer not here, but before the Senate. So, ano pong iniintay natin? Ang upuan ng ating Vice Presidente ay nananatiling bakante hanggang sa oras na ito. And as manifested by the Honorable Congresswoman from Laguna, which even confirmed her position of evading our proceeding, the Vice President is currently attending an event in San Pedro, Laguna, notwithstanding the importance of this constitutional process. That only confirms that she has no intention of appearing before this committee. No? So, I know that the position of Congressman Lord Ansuan and Congressman Rog Gutierrez are not consistent to the position of our endorsers, but I really wish that we conclude the determination of probable cause today, not because I am the chair, but because I am very much conscious that we have provided so much due process already to our respondents. So, may we hear first from Kong Rog Gutierrez and Kong Lord Ansuan.
Yeah.
I think you've heard already the manifestations of the justice members who wanted to vote now. Kong Rog?
Madam Chair, we submit to the wisdom and consensus of the committee.
Kong Lordan?
Madam Chair, I thank the Chair and my colleagues. The record will reflect that this committee considered deliberately and in good faith every avenue for the Vice President's participation. So I respect the decision of this body, and I now cast my vote based on the evidence on record and on my oath to the Constitution.
Before I pronounce the readiness of the committee to determine the probable cause, pursuant to Section 7, last paragraph, since we have concluded already our clarificatory hearings, as well as the presentation of evidence in support of the allegations in the impeachment complaints, the Chair declares that this impeachment complaint is considered submitted for the purpose of the determination of probable cause. So ruled.